about proper workstations for your child as they go back to school and possibly they're doing remote learning. So that's a long time during the day to be sitting in front of a screen if you're going to school. So we want to pay attention, especially in the developing child, to help create good posture and good postural habits as they're sitting at a desk with their devices. Now, we've all seen our kids and kids out in public with their phones and their iPads and all this stuff with really bad posture, flexed forward, looking down constantly. We as adults do the same thing. So some of these rules you can take along with you and set up your workstation properly as well. So we need to have good posture. It helps create optimal focus and attention for kids, and also decreases postural fatigue at the end of the day. We don't want that to happen because then that sets us up for pain syndromes in kids and headaches and that. Good posture habits are essential for good alignment as they grow into adults, and bad habits that they form as children are really hard to break as adults. All right, those muscles and bones develop, form follows function, so whatever you're doing repeatedly, that's what you're gonna look like, okay? So examples of bad posture, while we're learning on devices are, chairs that are too big, too fluffy, couches that are too big and fluffy, sitting in beanbag chairs, laying on your bed, your desks being too high, your desk being too low, just all of those things that, we get it. Devices now are mobile, so you can move them around. You don't have to stay at a desk, and that creates bad posture habits because we do anything just to see the screen. So some of the things you can do is to add blocks and pillows and different shims basically to set up good posture and to get good support for the spine. So the rule of thumb is 90, 90, 90. So if you can remember that, then even for yourself, when you set up your workstation, you want your elbows to be at 90 degrees so that when your wrists are and your fingers are on their keyboard, you can have your wrists supported and your forearms supported. So it's going to take strain off of the arm. If you're holding your arms up all day, you're going to create tension up here in your upper trapezius and in through these muscles. And then you want your hips to be at 90, okay, so that we can set the pelvis in the right position to help support the low back properly. And we want the knees to be at 90. So that's, that 90, 90, 90, just remember that. And then take a look at your child while they're not looking and see what they tend to do when they're sitting. Okay, take a picture of that, and especially a picture from the side, and then try to set your child up in that 90-degree position. So you can add blocks underneath their feet, underneath their pelvis. The desk is the desk that you have, right? So what you want to do is adjust chair and computer height to get the right positioning for their bodies, okay? Because chances are you can't change the height of the table that they're at. So you can use blocks. These come in different widths and stuff, and these are nice and wide to sit on. They're a little bit soft, but they're still firm enough, and you can stack them so they come in, like I said, like this is like a 3.5, almost 4 inch, and this is a 2.5 inch, and then you can just prop those up. You can use whatever you have at home, step stools, books, and prop up under their feet so their hips and their knees are at 90, or prop up on the chair so that they're up a little bit. If they're too low sitting, if they're a small child sitting too low and then having to reach up to be on their computer, not going to be good. You want to have that 90 degree with the elbow. And even adding support for their low back, because their low back, if they're not supported because the chair is large, after a few minutes, they're going to start to slouch into that chair. And then that's going to create rounded posture into their low back. So either adding a pillow, towel roll, whatever you have at home, lumbar supports and stuff can really help to give that child support in the spine. They'll feel very comforted in that position too, because everything is supported, and then you can just sit and then you can learn. So if you have a fidgety child, someone with ADHD, or someone that just wants to move, or even maybe during the day and they get tired of just sitting in one position throughout the day and they want to move just a little bit more, you can add, instead of the chair, take away the chair and add a Swiss ball. Those large balls are really good for sitting on for posture, because it helps you to kind of get some postural muscles to work. And also, if you're fidgety, you can kind of get that extra energy out. One of the things you want to make sure is that it's inflated or deflated to the right height, so you can get that 90-90 position for the hip and the knee, and that of course the height for the computer and the table that you're on is good for the arms as well, so they're supported. Now, if you don't want to use the ball because you think they're just going to be messing around the whole time, then you might want to try this. This is called a disco sit. The links for everything are down in the description box too. This is inflatable, and so you can adjust it as far as how firm it is, but you can just set this on the seat, and then when they sit on it, it simulates being on the ball. Now, one reason this is kind of good is because our discs get nutrients in their spine from loading and unloading. So think of them like sponges. When you load the sponge, the water goes out, and when you release the sponge, the water sucks back in. And that kind of fidgeting around on the ball or on this little seat can create that loading and unloading, and that can create and keep your discs nice and healthy. So that's a nice bonus for that. So I hope those little habits and tips that I've given you have helped, and you can set your child up for good success throughout the day so they won't be fatigued. And if you have any questions, drop them in the description box below. And as always, if you'd like to take a class with me, that link is in the description box also, and you can come to my Zoom classes, or we can even have a private session to discuss what's going on in your body. So thanks so much for joining me today, and talk to you soon. Bye.